We're diving deep into a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or pocket change, the 1994 P Mint Mark Quarter Dollar. Could this everyday coin actually be worth a fortune? Stick around to find out how a 1994 quarter could be worth thousands, or maybe even millions of dollars. First, let's start with a little background. The 1994 Washington quarter was part of the regular issue of quarters produced by the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P Mint mark. Like many quarters from this era, it features George Washington's profile on the front, with the eagle design on the back. 1994 wasn't an anniversary year or part of a special release series, so most people wouldn't think it's anything out of the ordinary. However, that's where it gets interesting. Millions of these coins were minted, and in general, they're made of copper nickel rather than silver. But that doesn't mean all 1994 quarters are created equal. In fact, some coins in this batch have rare features or errors that make them exceptionally valuable. So, what makes a 1994 P quarter valuable? The answer lies in certain errors and minting issues. Coin collectors or numismatists look for unique mistakes that happen during the minting process. For example, there are reports of 1994 quarters with double dies, where the design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect, especially on the letters and numbers. There are also off-center strikes, coins with missing clad layers, or even quarters that were mistakenly struck on the wrong metal planchets. Any of these errors can significantly increase a quarter's value, especially if the error is visible to the naked eye. But why do these errors make the coin so valuable? Well, collectors go wild for unique and rare coins. Each error makes the coin one of a kind, adding to its appeal and driving up its value. It's all about scarcity and uniqueness. Now, let's talk numbers. What can a rare 1994 P Mint Mark quarter actually sell for? Well, depending on the type of error and the condition, these coins can fetch anything from a few $100s to several thousand. For instance, a high-grade, perfectly preserved 1994 quarter with a major error could reach 5 figures in value at auction. And there's even the chance, however small, of an extremely rare error type or a pristine coin in perfect uncirculated condition selling for hundreds of thousands, even into the millions. While these prices aren't common, they're possible, especially with the highest grades and rarest errors. Now that you know what to look for, you're probably wondering how to check your quarters. Here are a few tips. First, examine the mint mark. You're specifically looking for that P for Philadelphia. Then, use a magnifying glass to carefully inspect the coin for any doubling on the letters or numbers, and check for other irregularities like off-center strikes or layering issues. Another tip: pay attention to the coin's overall condition. Coins in higher grades, meaning those that are well preserved, tend to fetch higher prices. So, if you have a 1994 quarter that looks brand new, it might be worth setting aside. If you think you have a valuable 1994 P quarter, it's a good idea to get it professionally appraised. Coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, which can make a huge difference in its sale price. They'll give it a grade on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin. And remember, having an official grade on your coin adds credibility, which can be the deciding factor when selling to a serious collector or at an auction. So, who knew a simple 1994 quarter could be worth so much? Whether you're a collector or just curious about your pocket change, it's always worth checking those coins. You never know when you might strike gold, or, in this case, silver and copper. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1995 P Mint Mark Quarter Dollar coin. What makes it special? How did it go from pocket change to being worth millions? Stick around, and let's explore the incredible history and value of this rare coin. The 1995 P quarter was part of the long-standing Washington quarter series, which had been minted continuously since 1932 to honor the United States' first president, George Washington. Now, you may wonder, what makes this particular quarter so unique? After all, millions of quarters were minted in 1995 at the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P Mint mark on this coin. While the 1995 P quarter seems like any ordinary coin at first glance, it hides a remarkable story. Like other quarters of the time, it's composed of a copper nickel-clad, weighing around 5.67 grams with a reeded edge. But here's where things get exciting. Most 1995 P quarters are quite common, but some rare varieties are out there, causing a stir among collectors. Some unique 1995 quarters display unusual characteristics, like striking errors, doubling on certain letters, or misaligned edges. These rare features can drive the value way up. Coins with errors like these tend to capture the attention of serious collectors, who are always on the hunt for coins with flaws that were unintentionally released from the mint. This adds an extra layer of exclusivity and potential value to what might otherwise be a common coin. So why are these coins fetching prices in the millions? In rare cases, error coins or high-quality specimens, graded at MS68 or higher, have been known to sell for thousands or even millions at auctions. This is because these coins are practically flawless, with sharp details, vibrant luster, and most importantly, an unusual error or variety that makes them one of a kind. The demand for coins in this grade is exceptionally high because collectors value these coins as pristine examples of minting history. The rarity, condition, and collector enthusiasm all come together to drive up the price of these unique 1995 P quarters. Look for coins that are in near-perfect condition. Any signs of wear can significantly decrease the value. Search for doubling, misstrikes, or other anomalies that aren't found on standard quarters. If you think you have a rare find, consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade can skyrocket the coin's value. Always keep in mind that grading can be subjective, so it's worth consulting with a professional if you believe your 1995 P quarter has potential. The 1995 P quarter is a perfect example of how even a modern coin can become incredibly valuable thanks to rarity, condition, and collector demand. So, next time you're going through your change, keep an eye out. You never know when a rare and valuable piece of history could be hiding in your pocket. Have you ever stumbled across a 1978 D quarter and thought, this looks just like any other quarter? Well, think again. Some of these unassuming coins could be worth serious money, possibly even in the millions. In today's video, we're diving into the history, key characteristics, and the elusive factors that make certain 1978 D quarters incredibly valuable. So, grab your change jar. You might be sitting on a small fortune. Let's start with a little background on the Washington quarter. The quarter design featuring George Washington has been around since 1932, originally created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of his birth. But here's where it gets interesting. The 1978 D quarter was produced at the Denver Mint, marked by the D mint mark right beside the date. Although millions were minted, only a tiny fraction hold the kind of value that collectors are after. In 1978, the Denver Mint produced over 287 million quarters, making this a common year for the Washington quarter. But as with many collectibles, rarity can come in different forms. For the 1978 D quarter, it's not about how many were produced. It's about finding one in pristine, untouched condition or one with unique mint errors. First, let's talk about condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. If you happen to have a 1978 D quarter in mint state condition, especially in the higher grades like MS67 or MS68, you could be looking at serious collector value. These high-grade quarters are exceptionally rare, and some collectors are willing to pay tens of thousands, even up to $1 million, for the absolute best examples. Now, let's dive into what can make a 1978 D quarter stand out even more: mint errors. Coins with unique errors like double die obverse, off-center strikes, or other striking errors are highly sought after. These mistakes happen very rarely and can make a common coin incredibly valuable. Imagine finding a 1978 D quarter with a double die error on Washington's face or an off-center strike that leaves parts of the coin's design missing. Some of these error coins have sold for thousands at auctions and can be valued much higher depending on the nature of the error and its condition. Alright, so where does the millions of dollars come in? While it's rare for any 1978 D quarter to reach that high in value, certain coin varieties and unique, flawless quarters with extreme historical significance can potentially attract eye-watering offers from serious collectors. Imagine finding one of these hidden treasures in your pocket change. Wondering if you might have one of these rare finds? Grab a magnifying glass and check for mint marks, unusual details, and the coin's condition. And if you're still unsure, taking your coin to a professional grader can reveal if it's worth more than 25 cents. To sum it up, most 1978 D quarters might be worth their face value, but in top condition or with rare errors, they can be worth thousands, and in rare cases, much more. So, next time you come across a 1978 D quarter, give it a second look. You might just have a piece of history worth holding on to. We're talking about one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar. Some of these coins are turning heads and going for insane amounts at auction, even reaching into the millions. So what makes this coin so valuable, and could you have one sitting in your pocket change right now? Let's find out. Let's start with some history. In 1965, the United States Mint made a massive change to the Washington quarter. Before 1965, these quarters were made with 90% silver. However, with silver prices rising, the Mint decided to switch the composition to a copper-nickel blend to keep costs down. So, every quarter minted from 1965 onwards was supposed to be silver-free. But here's the twist. Some 1965 quarters were actually struck on silver planchets by mistake. Imagine that, a coin designed to be the start of a new era, but still accidentally carrying the silver of the past. These rare silver 1965 quarters are the ones that can fetch thousands, even millions, depending on their condition and authenticity. So why is this error so valuable? First, silver 1965 quarters are extremely rare because they weren't supposed to exist. It's believed that only a handful escaped the mint undetected. Most of the silver planchets left over from 1964 were intended to be melted down, but a few must have slipped through the cracks. Coins like this are like lottery tickets, rare, coveted, and incredibly valuable. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these coins because they're one-of-a-kind pieces of history. At auctions, the few silver 1965 quarters that have surfaced have sold for eye-popping prices, with some reaching into the 6 or 7 figures. Now, here's the big question. How can you tell if you have one of these rare silver quarters from 1965? First, check the edge of the coin. Regular 1965 quarters, made with copper and nickel, will have a visible copper band around the edge. But a silver quarter has a solid silver edge without that copper strip. You can also weigh the coin. A standard copper-nickel quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter weighs slightly more, around 6.25 grams. If you suspect you have one, consider getting it professionally graded and authenticated, as even small details like this can affect its value. So, how much could a silver 1965 quarter be worth? The few that have been authenticated have sold for anywhere from tens of thousands to, yes, even over $1 million. The exact value depends on the coin's condition, rarity, and the demand in the market, which is high for error coins like this. It's the kind of discovery every coin collector dreams about. A single quarter that could change your life. Before you go, here's one last tip. Keep an eye out in your spare change. Error coins like these don't surface often, but they're out there. Even a single silver 1965 quarter could be hiding in a forgotten coin jar or handed back to you as change. We're diving into an iconic coin that you might have in your pocket change. The 1979 D Washington quarter. It may look like an everyday coin, but in the right condition, this little piece of history could be worth big bucks, even up to thousands of dollars in certain rare conditions. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over time, it became a staple in American currency, and by 1979, the Washington quarter had already undergone several changes. This particular coin, the 1979 D, was minted at the Denver Mint. The D mint mark you see just below the eagle on the reverse side is the key indicator that it's from Denver. In 1979, millions of these coins were produced, so finding one isn't hard, but finding one in pristine condition. Now, that's where it gets interesting. Coins graded as mint state MS 65 or higher are highly sought after by collectors. They have sharp details, no wear, and that fresh from the mint look. Certain error coins, like off-center strikes or double dies, are incredibly rare and can drive up the coin's value. Coins with clearly visible and unbroken steps on the eagle's feathers on the reverse are rare finds and can be worth much more. Let's talk about grades. For a 1979 D Washington quarter in circulated condition, the value isn't very high, typically just face value. But if you have a near-perfect uncirculated example, the price jumps. For example, a 1979 D in mint state 67 can go for hundreds of dollars. And if you're lucky enough to find an MS-68 or even higher, you're looking at a serious payday, with some rare finds fetching thousands at auction. Here's the exciting part. In recent years, some near-perfect 1979 D quarters have sold at auction for thousands of dollars. That's right, collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins with perfect details and eye-catching luster. So, if you've got a 1979 D quarter in near-perfect condition, it might be worth getting it professionally graded to see just how much it could bring in. So, what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1979 D quarter? First, check its condition. If it looks uncirculated with sharp details, set it aside. Then, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, as a certified grade will increase its market value. To protect your coins, always handle them carefully by the edges and store them in a cool, dry place. Using protective holders or cases will also help prevent any wear or damage. Remember, even the smallest scratch can reduce a coin's value significantly. So, there you have it, the story of the 1979 D Washington quarter. While most are just worth their face value, a few rare, mint-condition examples can be worth a small fortune. Who knows? You might have one of these hidden in your own collection. We're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. quarters, and specifically, the 2015 P Mint Mark $quarter coin. You might be holding on to one of these in your pocket change right now. But what if I told you that some rare versions of this coin could be worth serious money? So, let's start with a little background on the 2015 P quarter. This coin is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which started in 2010. The series was introduced to celebrate significant national sites across all 50 states, as well as Washington, D.C. and U.S. territories. The 2015 quarters feature 5 different designs, each depicting a national park or historic site, including Homestead, Kisatchie, Blue Ridge Parkway, Bombay Hook, and Saratoga. These quarters were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is where the P Mint mark comes from. But what makes certain 2015 P quarters so special? Well, it's all about rarity and condition. While millions were produced, a select few coins have distinct errors or unique characteristics that have made them highly sought after by collectors. One of the most exciting things about the 2015 P quarters is that some error varieties can be worth far more than face value. For example, some coins show what's known as a double die error, where parts of the design appear doubled. This can occur on elements like the text, date, or even the design itself. If you have a 2015 P quarter with noticeable doubling, it could be worth a lot more than 25 cents. Another interesting error is known as the cud error, which happens when a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised area on the coin. This type of error, particularly if it's large or noticeable, can make a coin valuable to the right collector. Now, even without errors, a 2015 P quarter in pristine, high-grade condition can fetch high prices. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. If you happen to find a 2015 P quarter in mint state, meaning it shows no signs of wear, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if it's graded MS-67 or higher. In fact, some of the rare 2015 P quarters with errors or high grades have sold for substantial amounts at auction. A perfectly graded MS-67 or higher Homestead quarter, for example, with a well-known error, can sell for thousands of dollars. It all depends on the rarity and the demand from collectors. Alright, so what should you do if you think you have a valuable 2015 P quarter? First, examine the coin carefully. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling on letters or any unusual marks that could be an error. Also, look at the coin's overall condition. If it looks almost untouched, it might be worth getting it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. To preserve its value, handle the coin carefully. Always hold it by the edges and avoid touching the surface directly. Store it in a protective holder to prevent any scratches or wear. So, there you have it. The 2015 P quarter dollar might look like just another coin, but certain rare examples could be worth a small fortune. If you enjoyed learning about this unique quarter and want more videos on hidden treasures in your pocket change, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Also, comment below if you think you might have a valuable 2015 P quarter, or if there's another coin you'd like us to cover. Could this little 1999 D quarter dollar be worth millions? You'd be surprised. Many coin collectors are hunting for rare varieties of this coin, and today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to see if your quarter could be worth a fortune. Let's get started. All right, let's jump back to 1999. A big year in U.S. coin history. This was the start of the 50-state quarters program, where the U.S. Mint released quarters representing each state. The 1999 quarters marked the first 5 states: Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. The quarters were minted in massive numbers to satisfy the demand for this new and exciting series. In fact, hundreds of millions were minted across facilities, including the Denver Mint, which is where the D on your 1999 quarter comes from. Now, not every 1999 D quarter is worth millions, but certain special ones can fetch high prices. Here's why. It all comes down to condition, rarity, and any unique errors or varieties that might be on the coin. For instance, coins that have been preserved in mint state condition, meaning they show almost no wear or scratches, are highly valued. Coins graded at MS-68 or above can go for hundreds to thousands of dollars. However, it's the rare error coins that truly grab the spotlight. Some 1999 D quarters were struck with striking errors or die cracks, creating distinctive marks or doubling that collectors are willing to pay big for. Wondering what types of errors can make a 1999 D quarter worth a small fortune? Here are some to look for. Some quarters show doubling on the obverse or reverse. This doubling often appears around the lettering or the date. Double dies are rare and can increase a coin's value significantly. If you find a quarter that looks like it has a piece missing from the edge, that's called a clipped planchet. These errors happen when the metal blanks are punched too close together and are highly sought after. Another rare error to look for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned in the machine and ends up looking off-balance with part of the design missing. Collectors love these. Some 1999 D quarters also show die cracks or cuds, raised areas on the coin caused by breaks in the die. Each of these errors makes the coin unique, and they can greatly increase its value. Have a 1999 D quarter that looks interesting? Here's how to check its potential value. Start by checking the condition of your coin. Is it free of scratches and wear? Higher grades bring higher values. Use a magnifying glass to check for any unusual features, like doubling, die cracks, or off-center strikes. These can be subtle, so take your time. If you think you've got something special, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. This can confirm its authenticity and condition, making it more attractive to buyers. While it's unlikely, if you have a unique error quarter in the highest grades, say an MS-68 or MS-69, with a rare minting error, it could indeed fetch a significant amount at auction. Some of the rarest quarters have sold for thousands, and who knows, a truly one-of-a-kind piece could break records. So, the next time you're looking through your pocket change, take a closer look at those quarters. Your 1999 D quarter might just hold a little hidden fortune. And if you find one, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video on rare and valuable coins. We're diving into the 2000 D Washington quarter, a coin that may look ordinary but can actually be worth a surprising amount of money under certain conditions. Stick around as we explore the history, key features, and the potential value of this unique coin. The Washington quarter has been a staple in U.S. coinage since 1932, when it was first minted to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. By the year 2000, the coin had already seen some major changes. The quarter we're talking about today, minted in Denver and marked with a D, belongs to the State Quarter Series, which was an iconic program by the U.S. Mint. Each state got its own design, making collecting quarters incredibly popular at the time. In 2000, quarters were released for Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. These quarters were part of a plan to release 5 new designs each year. And let's not forget, this was also the era when coin collecting saw a huge revival in the U.S. Now, let's talk specifics. The 2000 D quarter features the classic George Washington profile on the obverse, or heads, side, along with a D mint mark, indicating it was minted in Denver. Each state's design on the reverse or tails side captures something special about that state. Whether it's a lighthouse from Massachusetts or the historic ship of Virginia, these designs set each quarter apart. So, what makes the 2000 D quarter so potentially valuable? While most quarters from 2000 are only worth their face value, a few rare varieties and error coins can fetch thousands or even millions of dollars from the right collector. The first factor that can boost the value is condition coins graded at high levels, particularly those rated MS 67 or higher, are incredibly rare and highly sought after. But that's not all. Some rare errors make these quarters truly unique and can send their value skyrocketing. Here's what to look out for. Some of the valuable errors to look for include double dies, where the design appears to be slightly doubled, and off-center strikes, where the image isn't properly centered. Another rare but valuable error is the missing clad layer, which makes the coin appear coppery or two-toned. Collectors pay big bucks for these unique pieces, and if you have one, you could be holding a small fortune. Wondering if your 2000 D quarter is valuable? Start by checking the overall condition. Coins that are scratched, worn, or heavily circulated usually won't be worth much, but those in pristine condition might be worth having graded by a professional. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can assess your coin's grade, which could make a huge difference in its market value. Once graded, your coin's rarity and condition determine its potential price. Error coins and high-grade quarters from 2000 have been known to sell for thousands and, in extremely rare cases, even up to $1 million at auction. So, could you have one of these valuable quarters? While it's rare, it's possible. If you find a high-grade example with a significant error, you might be looking at a valuable collectible that could fetch thousands or even millions at auction. Imagine that, finding $1 million coin in your pocket change. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more coin collecting insights. And let us know in the comments, have you checked your 2000 D quarters yet? You might be sitting on a hidden treasure. We're talking about a very interesting coin that's been causing a buzz, the 2002 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. And yes, some versions of this coin have been known to fetch incredible amounts at auction, even up to $1 million. So let's get into the history of this coin, what makes it special, and how you could tell if you might have one of these rare finds. First, a little background on the 2002 Washington quarter. This coin was part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, a wildly popular series that ran from 1999 to 2008. Each quarter featured a unique design representing one of the 50 states, and in 2002, states like Tennessee, Ohio, and Louisiana were honored on the quarter. Now, this specific quarter, the 2002 D Mint mark, was minted at the Denver Mint, which you can tell by the D Mint mark located just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the coin's obverse. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this coin worth so much? Well, while most 2002 D quarters are worth just face value, a small handful have been found with rare errors and unique characteristics. These variations are what collectors go wild for, and they're what can make certain coins extremely valuable. One of the biggest factors that can increase a coin's value is a minting error. Some 2002 D quarters have known errors, like double die strikes, or unique flaws such as off-center strikes or missing design details. And it's not just any error. Certain types of errors are more valuable than others, particularly those that are in high demand among collectors. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating a doubled effect on parts of the design. Check Washington's profile and the lettering, as that's where doubling typically appears. Look for quarters where the design is visibly off-center. These coins are rare and can fetch higher prices, especially if they're in mint condition. If the coin has a noticeable clip or missing piece from the edge, this error can increase its value as well. Keep in mind, the condition of the coin plays a huge role here. Coins with these errors that are in pristine, uncirculated condition tend to command the highest prices. Now, let's get to the exciting part: how much these coins have sold for. While the typical 2002D quarter won't make you a fortune, certain error coins or coins in flawless condition have sold for thousands, even up to $1 million in rare cases. Auction houses and online marketplaces have seen collectors paying top dollar for these unique variations. For instance, one 2002D quarter with a prominent double die error sold for several $1,000s at auction. And if you were to find a 2002D quarter with multiple rare errors in near-perfect condition, that's where we start seeing numbers closer to the $1 million range. Yes, sometimes rare coins can be found in circulation, so always take a quick glance at your quarters before spending them. Some errors, like doubling, can be difficult to spot with the naked eye. Invest in a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Occasionally, people unknowingly sell valuable coins at local shops or markets. Be on the lookout and don't be afraid to ask about specific years like 2002 quarters. Alright, collectors, that's it for our deep dive on the 2002D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Remember, while not every quarter is a jackpot, taking the time to inspect coins could lead to some valuable discoveries. Who knows, you might be holding onto a small fortune without even knowing it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to your channel name for more insights into the fascinating world of coin collecting. And let us know in the comments. Have you ever come across a rare coin in your change? We'd love to hear your story. We're diving into a fascinating story about one of the most sought-after Washington quarters out there, the 1983p Washington quarter. This seemingly ordinary coin could actually be worth thousands or even millions of dollars under the right conditions. Stick around, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about why this coin is so rare, its history, and what to look for if you're hoping to find one in your collection. Let's jump in. Let's go back to 1983. By then, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for over 50 years, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. The 1983 quarter, with its P Mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This coin was produced in very high numbers, with millions made that year. But here's the twist. Most of them were heavily circulated. In 1983, there was an economic recession in the United States, which meant fewer people were collecting coins as a hobby. At the same time, collectors couldn't get their hands on 1983 quarters in mint condition because the U.S. Mint didn't release mint sets that year. So, while millions of these quarters were produced, most ended up getting used in everyday transactions, leading to severe wear and tear on the coins. So, why is the 1983p Washington quarter so valuable? Well, as I mentioned, these quarters were used widely and weren't saved in mint condition. Over time, high-grade examples have become incredibly scarce. Finding a 1983p quarter with little to no wear is very challenging today, and that's what drives up its value. Because most of these coins were used, very few were preserved in mint state or high-quality condition. Coins in these top conditions, graded MS67 or higher, are the real gems collectors are looking for and are willing to pay top dollar for. Now, here's where things get even more exciting. Certain 1983p quarters have unique errors and varieties that make them even more valuable. A popular variety to look for is the double die error, where some of the design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. This doubling might show up on the lettering or even Washington's profile, and collectors absolutely love these kinds of errors because they make the coin incredibly unique. Alright, here's the part you've been waiting for. How much can a 1983p Washington quarter be worth? In circulated condition, a 1983p quarter usually isn't worth more than its face value. However, If you find one in uncirculated or mint condition, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. And if you're lucky enough to find one graded MS-67 or higher, you're talking about a coin that could fetch thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, a few top-graded 1983 P quarters have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. That's right, a simple quarter from 1983 could be a jackpot if it's in the right condition. Look for coins with minimal wear, strong details, and little to no scratches. Check for doubling on the text or Washington's profile. Consider getting it professionally graded. Coins graded MS-67 or higher have the highest value. Remember, even if your 1983 P quarter doesn't seem flawless, it could still be worth a decent amount if it's in better condition than the typical 1983 quarters in circulation. If you think you might have a valuable 1983 P quarter, take care of it. Avoid cleaning or handling it too much, as that can reduce its value. You might want to store it in a protective coin holder until you can get it checked by a professional. So, who knew a little 1983 quarter could have such an interesting story and even be worth a small fortune? Keep an eye out in your change jars, because you never know what kind of treasure you might find.